Hello and welcome to Error Code Blueberry. It's the spooky season in Destiny, Festival of the Lost Time. I forgot to mention we are an unassuming Destiny podcast. This is now episode 10. I am full of fried rice and half of a beer. I am good to go. My name is chillybin.
I'm 3 energy drinks deep and half a strong zero. My name is Meckii.
Yes, good. Completely threw you off there with the energy that I brought, I think.
It's like that's the next 3 weeks.
Yes.
Spooky intros.
I'm thinking about it. I'm going to progressively add more skulls and dark things to what I wear on the show, and then we'll see how it is by the final week. Anyway, it's a well, it's a big week, but more that there's a lot of things to do that we have been enjoying a lot, and we've spent like a day and a half with it. We should probably, before we dive into the Festival of the Lost stuff, the whole Forsaken and Tangled Shore getting vaulted thing, that came out the day after we recorded the last episode.
As it does.
Yeah, a bunch of people had some really shitty opinions on that. I think I know where you stand on this, and it's similar to me in that it's fine. Like, I haven't really touched it in a long time. I'm also, as I mentioned before, someone who works in software development, and I understand why they need to vault things. And they have to have numbers to back up the fact that no one is fucking looking at Forsaken, right?
They're not going to vault things that people are actively engaging in.
No. Yeah, which is why like the Dreaming City is staying, Last Wish is staying. What else? There's other
Nessus.
things. Yeah, there's other things that were introduced with Forsaken that are not going away. The armor, the weapons, all that stuff. They're basically just removing a location, which allows them to save a bunch of disk space because they're introducing another one with Witch Queen. It becomes, less things that they need to maintain, which means that patches are really fast and they fix Destiny is at the point now where they fix so many things they can't gather all the information to put in the patch notes, and they have to keep issuing tweets to say, oh, we missed this one, but we've actually fixed it. Like, that was something they mentioned today on Twitter, was like, oh no, that actually got fixed, we just forgot to mention it because there's so many people making all these fixes we couldn't keep up.
Yeah, DMG said something about like there are so many teams working on so many things that sometimes the pipeline doesn't get fed down in time for the TWAB.
Yeah, and look, there's ways to solve that problem. I'm sure they're trying to. You can automate the generation of patch notes in various ways anyway. I will be sad to lose the nightclub Lost Sector.
Oh no, fuck that song.
No, but there's two things I like about it. One, you can still listen to Hope for the Future, the weird Paul McCartney song that was from like D1, I think. But also, you get to hear a weird bluegrass version of like the main Destiny theme, and I love that so much that exists. But that all happens in the first room in that Lost Sector. The rest of it can go away.
Bungie release a vinyl EP of just those two songs.
Oh, no, I want them to like keep progressing with the actual vinyl collector's editions they put out, because they haven't touched Destiny 2 yet. All they've done is D1 stuff, and I'm someone who has like the first two editions they've put out. Resale value on those things is insane. But yeah, I want more of that on vinyl. I want D2 music on vinyl because I think I have more of an attachment to that. Anyway, Tangled Shore going away. There was something else about it that I've now forgotten. Oh, yeah. One of the ideas I saw a few people campaigning behind was this idea of like, let us download and choose what content we're playing. Like, almost like they want to have the Forsaken campaign as like this archived closed box thing that they can just launch and play through. There's a few reasons why that's kind of a shitty thing to ask for. One, you haven't played it in 3 years. Why do you all of a sudden want to touch it now? Two, it is then still a thing they need to maintain and ensure that is balanced against everything else. Like, if the power curve in Destiny runs away from a like locked version of the Forsaken campaign, and you go back in and you're super overpowered. Like that's not fun.
It's not fun.
It's not challenging.
It to me it feels like uh you haven't played with these toys in a while, so we're gonna throw them out.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden the kid's like, no, I play with this. I play with this all the
Yep.
time. And then all of a sudden, every time you walk past their room, they're sitting on the bed like, see, I play with this. And you're like,
I saw at least one dad on Twitter make that exact comparison this week of like,
yeah,
you weren't playing with this. Let us get rid of it because it's actually everyone's tripping over
Let
it.
up.
Yeah. So look, I get it. People have attachments to Forsaken because Cade died. Whatever. I don't think he's that interesting of a character.
Ooh, spoiler alert. Whoa.
Yeah. Speaking of spoiler alert, the sidearm that says somebody's going to die. Maybe the person that is going to die is just the spider. Maybe that's what that's in reference to. Maybe it's actually quite simple. It's not some like weird thing that's going to be this huge reveal. It's like, well, the Tangled Shore's going away. Maybe they're just finding a way to like tie that bow nicely. I don't know.
Nuke spider from orbit.
Yeah, maybe Crow just walks in and he's like, hey, actually, fuck you, and just murks him. That would be alright. And then Glint can sing him to sleep, which was from this week. That's so good. Anyway, unless you've got more on the, like, Tangled Shore Forsaken vaulting saga, I don't know what else to call it.
I think the discourse made me a little bit toxic this week because someone was having a big rant about it and pretty much going off at Bungie and calling them every name under the sun, and I just responded with "die mad."
Yeah, like they need to do it so that working on this game is sustainable.
Not worth getting upset over.
Yeah.
It's a digital place in a game.
Oh yeah, that was actually
you don't fucking play because this Bungie have obviously looked at the spaces that are not being utilized and gone, well, fucking no one's doing Tangled Shore.
Yep. And that was the other really big important point that I saw brought up a couple of times. The terms of service that Destiny players agree to actually state that they can remove things from the game at will. And you agree to those terms to play the game.
That's normal for an MMO.
Yeah.
I mean, Final Fantasy 14 takes shit in and out of the game all the time. WoW does. Like,
yeah. And people are like, oh, why are you doing this? It's like, hey, we put out a fucking article explaining the vaulting process a year ago.
I paid for this content, so it's technically... Oh, yeah, that was one. It's technically stealing, and if you're going to remove content, you need to actually refund it. No,
you bought a license to a piece of software, and you're not using it, and they need to remove it.
Not even in Australia, where we have consumer law.
Yeah, that doesn't hold up.
Is it covered?
No.
So, like...
Yeah.
People just being big babiys. It's these kinds of things always bring out the shitty pocket of the community that are just, all you can do is roll your eyes at them. Tell them to stay mad.
I understand some amount of frustration, but it's to me, well, for me, that manifests as like, yeah, I kind of like that story. I'm sad it's going away, but I've had my time with it. And if I really wanted to, on my Hunter, I've barely done the Forsaken campaign. There's most of it still there to do. My Warlock, I don't think I've done it at all.
And you've got a while to do it.
Yeah, and they also have said that they're going to make it free before they take it away, so that people who, say, have picked up Destiny as a free-to-play game, they have a chance to experience that story before it's removed. Cool.
Like, that's the thing, too. It's like...
What else do you want?
As you know, it's very easy to make me cry. And it's like, I cried when I first played Forsaken, and then I cried when I had to replay it before Beyond Light because I'd rolled a new character.
Right.
And I just never did Forsaken, and everyone in the group was like, you have none of the good stuff from Forsaken, go fucking do Forsaken. And I was like, fine.
Yeah.
And I cried then. But there was like a year and a half between
the
first time I experienced it and this time.
Yeah. And also,
like, how many times can you see Cade die?
Yeah, well, per character, once. I found this out this week because like there was a couple of things, there were like hidden emblems and stuff that you can pick up while doing the campaign, and if you finish the campaign, you literally cannot replay it because they've stopped doing like daily story mission rotations, right?
Yeah.
So people who have put hours and hours into this game and are sad that it's going away, unless they delete a character and start again, or create an old account and buy the game again, they can't replay it. Like, what? I don't even really understand the argument from that side anymore. Of like, every point that they have is just like, come on, dude, this isn't it.
And they're all, they seemingly, like, no one has, and I think it's because it's one of those things, it's like the moment emotion gets involved, the argument is just,
Yeah.
Because no argument I've seen online for keeping it or against vaulting has a logical
No.
foundation or like a logical
Yeah.
like meaning behind it or intent behind it, because everyone who's like, yeah, vaulting happens, at least they're not sunsetting weapons anymore, like that's fine.
You're pouring out for my boy Parcel of Stardust though. Holy shit.
They someone who is like, yeah, vaulting's whatever, it sucks, but it's whatever, will come along and present a well thought out argument that's just like, look, they need to do this for a reason.
Yeah.
They've obviously looked at the data and Forsaken just isn't being utilized. It's dead space.
Yeah.
We could use this space for new content. And then the people who are like, no, they usually spiral and it ends up in ad hominem. And it's like, oh, you don't actually understand why you're angry. You're just angry.
Yeah.
You think you're getting a toy taken away from you and you're lashing out. And that's probably the most frustrating thing. And it's really like, if Forsaken is important to you and it's the story that got you into Destiny or that you connected with, I understand it sucks that it's going away. But like, you've played it 1 to 3 times.
Yeah.
And it's also on YouTube.
Yeah, just go watch like a cutscene.
It's like rewatching a movie.
Yeah.
Like, go watch Cade die in your free time. Like,
Yeah.
I don't understand why you want to watch that cutscene over and over again, but like, homie.
Yeah.
Read the lore. Read the books.
Yeah.
Watch the YouTube videos. Like,
yeah.
In the scope of Destiny lore, they're not actually taking that much out because like, we're at a point where it's like, oh yeah, Cade was a thing. Cheeky reference here and there, but like for the most part, the story and then ultimately everyone within the tower has moved on.
Yeah.
It's so also time for the player base to move on.
Yeah, it is also that thing, right? Like,
welcome to grief.
Yeah. If somebody is coming to Destiny for the first time, at the moment, there's like weird references to Cade in ways that's like, I feel like I should understand this, but there's no way to explain it to me unless I go back and buy Forsaken, and I don't want to do that because it's like 3-year-old content. I don't like what?
Even if you did that, you don't really have the same momentum and build up.
Because you don't know who Cade is, and he dies in the openings of that campaign.
Yeah, like you don't have the time to connect with Cade like some of the OG players or the older players have. Like, I like Cade. I mean, I like him because he's annoying, but that's me.
Yeah, for me, he goes just a bit too far into the annoying side of that spectrum. I'm like, actually, he can fuck off. Like, no, like, thank you.
There are parts where I admit he rides the anti-hero line and then falls off. Yeah. But like, he's funny, he's sassy, he's whatever. You know, he's every story needs that like cowboy Renaissance character. You know.
Yeah.
But I mean, he died.
Yeah. Actually move on.
Shit happens.
Yeah. But yeah, and so the point I was sort of leading to was like, once they remove that story and basically any tie to the character of Cade other than a little plaque in front of Zavala, they can kind of like let that baggage go and they can build more stories. You know, like there's years more of Destiny 2 to come. Maybe just let them do that. I don't know.
I would say too, like the storytelling and the world building is right now in a better place than when Forsaken came out.
I would say it's the best it's ever been. Like, sure, Forsaken campaign, great story on its own. Outside of that,
Massive.
it was kind of, there wasn't much else going on.
That was, yeah.
That was,
And
yeah.
admittingly, like, if the data I was looking at on Twitter today, I wish I'd linked it. Some dude was like, "Hey, you realize a shitload of people dropped off during Forsaken, right? Like they
Yeah.
played the campaign and then they dropped the fuck off."
Yeah, because
And
like
that's when
actually,
the complaints that it was tedious and it was the same thing over
yeah,
and over
the
again
gameplay
started
itself was
coming up.
actually not that engaging at the time.
Those seasons weren't great.
Yeah. There's a whole conversation there about like the influence of Activision on Bungie's direction and how they quickly moved to get out of that arrangement. And Forsaken was kind of Forsaken was kind of like the big pillar of that relationship, right? Like, if you look at the last year of Destiny 2, that like from Beyond Light on, that was kind of like them really hitting their stride as a fully independent studio. I think Beyond Light was like the first big piece of work they delivered after going independent again.
Yeah, I was just checking that. Yeah.
Yeah. And since Beyond Light, it's just been like building constantly to the point where it's at now, where I am legitimately gonna read all of the Festival of the Lost storybooks because the lore has been so well delivered in the last couple of seasons.
Yeah, actually. The way that they're using the Festival of the Lost lore entries to link where they left us, and obviously after Festival of the Lost where they're going to pick up, is really great.
Yeah.
I haven't collected all the pages yet. I think I'm up to Luna 1. But like what I've read so far is kind of giving us these like key little stories.
Yeah.
But there's also really important lore laced kind of in the background of that, especially surrounding like Glint.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's really interesting to see how they're interweaving. They're not leaving us completely high and dry with this season's story. They're kind of sprinkling in bits.
Yeah, that's always my feeling with these seasonal events, is it kind of feels like, let's put everything on pause, ignore what you were just doing last week. It's Christmas. Like, no, it's always really jarring, I find, especially with like the solstice stuff, because it's like you go from all this super engaging story content on a weekly basis, and it's like, hey, jump around in the air for a bunch and collect these boxes you don't give a fuck about.
Yeah. Yeah. And to me, actually, like, you probably caught some of it on stream. I love the way they've refreshed Festival of the Lost.
Okay, yes, let's properly get into it now. I'm done with being salty about idiots on the internet. I want to talk about Festival of the Lost properly. It's so good.
It's so good. It feels like, I see a lot of people complaining about it, but no, to me it feels,
it's great.
I don't know.
It's been haunted fucking forest for 2 years. And they're doing some different things with it.
And to me, it feels like a whole new event almost at times.
Yeah, you've got these spooky fucking pumpkin boys just spawning out of nowhere.
I love it. There's new music in the tower.
Oh, yeah.
It's like,
I don't know if it's new music, but I don't remember the Festival of the Lost music that
prevalent
much.
At the very least.
Yeah.
It's more prevalent. But it's whimsical. It's got like that. I was describing it to a friend yesterday. Or a day in. The other day.
Yeah.
It feels like, the music feels like Disney Channel Nickelodeon Halloween movie special.
Yeah.
It's got like that whimsical kind of like theremin synthesizer.
It's not like, quite as like grimy feeling as like Are Real Monsters.
It's like Beetlejuice. Like it's got like that whimsy to it. And I love it. It's so good. That's my kind of Halloween, is like goofy, tacky, whimsical.
Yeah.
Halloween. And like that's what I love about
also
Halloween.
Really enjoying the fashion that's going on within our clan, of like people making these spooky builds, and the fucking thank fuck for the transmog system, because man, it's fun. Just like I'm gonna actually, like, you have to send me a photo of whatever your current spooky build is, because I'm actually so proud of the one that I've done, of like my orange and black pumpkin headed man.
Well,
I'm gonna put pictures in here. I'm gonna hope that I don't forget in the edit. So sorry if I do.
I started with my spooky deer.
Hmm.
So that's the stag helmet with a whole bunch of just black torn up robes, which is super
Yeah,
easy when you're the warlock. You know, there's like a whole bunch of transmogs that you can do to
yeah,
achieve that. Um, I started with substitutional alloy, and then I think
a
I threw
classic.
on my go-to.
Yeah,
Because
you were not a
outside of
fan.
Halloween, I'm the trash deer.
Yeah, you were not a fan of what I did with my ship, though.
Oh,
Well, yeah, I got the one. I think it was from the last year's Festival of the Lost, where it's like the classic Arcadia jump ship, but it's wrapped up like a mummy. And then I forget which shader I put on it, but it looks like it's rust.
crusty.
It looks like there's rust in the bandages wrapping the ship
It's
up. It's
like old
disgusting.
blood. Like
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
crusty.
That's what it is. It's no
I think I
good.
described it as crunchy when
You
you
did.
first. I was
You
like, it
did.
looks crunchy.
Yeah.
And then I unlocked the Varric masquerade hood,
Uh huh.
and now my character is cosplaying as D1 Varrics, like
Very
green and
good.
gold robe D1 Varrics
Yes.
for now.
Send me photos of that, and I will slam them right here in this episode. And we might not get picked for Bungie's fucking Destiny fashion magazine, but damn it if I'm not going to put these on the internet.
That's fine. Our fire team looks cute as heck when we're all
Yes.
together.
Yes.
Another fire team member has the penguin helm at the moment, and I
Oh,
know he's dressed as a penguin for a little bit.
yeah. Wait,
Uh,
as in penguin that shows up in the Batman movie in the
no,
tuxedo?
he's dressed like the penguins
The
that you
Europa
get.
penguin, yeah.
Yeah. And then I think he did a sweeperbot cosplay.
Nice. Yeah.
um,
I also, I'm very thankful that tomorrow is payday for me because there's a lot of things in the store that I want and I'm losing my mind. I am definitely going to get
I
at
want
least
that.
I'm probably gonna get at least one of the dinosaur armor sets because they're so good.
I care not for dinosaurs, only skitter scatter
Oh,
barrow.
the spider sparrow.
Bring me
Oh,
only that. That is all I want from this season.
oh, that thing is the goofiest thing I think I've seen, and I love this
I
game
am
for it.
hoarding my bright dust because
Yeah, it's next
apparently
week, I think.
it might be coming in next week for bright dust. So I am
There's a
hoarding my
website
bright dust.
you can check that. I think it's Today in Destiny. They've got like an Eververse calendar, and it will tell you legitimately like which week something is going to be on sale for Bright Dust.
Well, the homies figured it out for me.
Oh yeah,
One of our clan members were like, if it wasn't coming up for bright dust, I was going to buy it for you anyway. I was like,
right. You're gonna get that thing, yeah, because
because
it's like it's
I
got the legs on the
screamed when
side,
I first
and
saw
it's
it.
like doing the leg movement unless you're boosting, and then all the legs fly behind it, like they've like out the back, like it's Naruto running with 8 legs. It's so fucking good.
I'm crying thinking about it.
I'm now like reimagining that fucking clip from your like you're finally back into streaming.
Oh,
You
and the
open it
first
up
thing
on
I
day
see is
one of Festival
that.
of the Lost, and then you go to the store and just watch that ship and how it moves, and just lost it.
I think I spent 3 minutes watching, just playing with that ship in the preview, just crying.
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
crying on stream laughing at it.
It's it's so great.
I had a
It's
visceral reaction to the Goyster shell.
oh yeah,
This
my
this
clam bit.
is this is more.
Mm.
Y'all thought I was in love with the Goyster shell.
Yeah, it's dumb little googly eyes.
Well, I mean, I used the Jingle Jangle Sparrow until March,
Oh yeah, yep.
singing Christmas carols into the voice chat for 6 months every time I used it, even
The
in
worst.
DSC.
The worst. Like people who leave their Christmas lights or trees up until like February. It's like
Me,
stop.
I didn't have to take down any of my ghost decorations on my stairs because they've been up since last October.
Oh, well that's handy.
And real estate is like, when are you taking them down? I'm like, joke's on you. I'm not.
Yeah, this house is haunted now. Get fucked.
I genuinely, I want to recreate the little ghosties that you see around the tower and
Oh,
in
like
the
in the weird hidden
haunted
room?
sectors. And the
Yeah.
haunted sectors. I am currently in the process of purchasing purple fabric.
Okay.
Um,
Okay.
and trying to get up close views of the patterns on them.
Mm.
And then I've got to figure out how to do the eyes, but I will be building a few of
Yeah.
those, I think.
Okay.
That's my next cosplay project, is building those.
Let me know if you need like a 4K screenshot of that shit up close. I can help you out. Oh my god. In terms of like, yeah, the actual event itself, so it's haunted lost sectors, which I'm pretty sure
It's
is
so fun.
it's just a rotation of 3. But you're going through like killing. It's really weird. You like kill a bunch of enemies, and then there's a bunch of spawn locations where you have to stand in a portal. You summon
Do
what's
the
called a
ritual.
headless one, which is a big tall man with a pumpkin for a head, and has a lot of health. And you kill him, and then you go do another one, and then you just rotate until the timer runs out. I think we were hitting at about 9 or 10 pretty comfortably per run, and then you spawn like the boss for the lost sector, and then you have to go like kill a headless one so that he drops pumpkin charges, and then you have to pick up the pumpkins and throw them at the boss to break the shield. You do that 3 times, kill it.
You
Classic
missed the
Destiny
best
shit.
part. The best part is that the headless ones explode into paracausal candy.
They do. There's a lot of
like
fucking
a big
candy.
pinata.
Yes, they really are just pinatas with legs. It's so good. Oh,
And it
man.
feels fresh, and it's like, I'm not a Festival of Dawning.
Yeah.
It's the Chris Hanukkah
Yeah,
Kwanzaa one.
The dawning, yeah.
The Dawning. It's a little bit of everything. It's Chris Hanukkah Kwanzaa.
Chrismucker, to quote the OC. Who am I?
A millennial.
Yeah.
I usually don't look forward to that one. I tend to get my dumb sparrow or whatever is stupid at the time, as I do. And then I'm good. I don't really do the activities. But
Whereas I feel like Festival of the Lost is much more your everyday brand, so you want all that shit a lot more.
Stuffed.
Yeah.
But I'm excited to see what they do with it, actually. If they've refreshed Festival of the Lost, I'm really hoping they give Dawning the same treatment.
Yeah, I hope so too. The thing that I found, and like thinking back to last year's Festival of the Lost, the Haunted Forest stuff, just doing a run felt like it dragged on for so long. Because like, you would have to get like 7 branches deep into a run to really get the good loot. And if you got paired with some blueberries that didn't really have the right build, didn't really know what they were doing, you might get to 5. And it was just such a grind. Whereas this, it's like, it's basically a playlist activity, and one activity is one lost sector. You're in and you're out within like, I don't know, 5 minutes. It's
15 at most.
It's just, it feels so much like snappier to do it. And there's just enemies everywhere. So there's just always shit to do.
Yeah. And it's like, I don't know. The forests felt tedious.
Well, because it was also every
like
branch,
a crunch.
Yeah, every branch got progressively harder. So by the end of it, you've got like no radar, ammo is scarce. You have to stand in a healing pool that you only spawn by killing things. Otherwise, you don't regen health. It's like they would stack more and more stuff on it, like it's a Nightfall strike.
Yeah,
it felt really brutal. Whereas this is just like, I don't know, man, go have fun, blow up the pumpkin man. Like, who gives a fuck?
and there's different ways you can approach it too. Yeah. Like one run, you and I and another teammate were splitting up and doing the ritual points separately.
Yeah.
Or you can just do the cycle. There's different ways to do them. Whereas the forest didn't really have that.
Yeah, the forest was definitely like, there's a right way to do this, especially in the era of Breach and Clear. Actually, it was a year ago, so it wouldn't have been that. It would have been, what was the move then?
I can't even remember.
Probably would have been like Xeno. Lament wouldn't have been out, would it? October. Anyway, there was definitely like a right way to do them so that you got as far as you could into the forest. But there was one that we were doing, I think, last night where we would run around and make sure that we had 3 headless ones up, and then we would just move around as a group and kill them, and then just kind of like get this nice little rhythm going. Like, we weren't even really like strategizing; it was just what happened, and it differed from Lost Sector to Lost Sector, but it was fun.
Depending on how they're structured, yeah. It feels fun.
Yeah.
It feels fresh. It feels fun. I feel like they're being a lot more. They're allowing their design team to be a lot more like out there with their event designs now. Like, when have we seen like a dynamic sparrow?
Yeah, not like that.
Like that?
Not a sparrow with legs.
Yeah, like, how often do we get something like that?
Yeah.
And it's like, all I can think of was The Dawning, where you had the jingle jangle and it would drop like, glimmer.
Yeah, but that was only active during the event.
And it had a little bell. Like,
you know what I just thought of? Sparrows make different noises when they go backwards. What noise does the spider make when it goes backwards?
I hope it makes like a scratchy noise.
Yeah, because like the Micro Mini makes like this high-pitched ding sound when you're backing up. What sound does the spider make when it throws it back?
No, because now I'm thinking of the spider and...
Okay, the spider sparrow. No, that's still... I don't remember what it's called. Anyway.
Skitter scatter.
Skitter scare, I think it is.
Either way, it's fun.
It's pretty good. There's also like some pretty fun and interesting voice lines coming through as you're doing the activity. Pretty much all of it is from Glint.
A lot of Glint.
Yeah. It's just like...
A lot of Glint telling spooky stories.
But also like talking about how he sings Crow to sleep at some point. What is happening? I'm waiting until I get all of the lore pages unlocked before I start reading any, because I don't want to like get to a point and be like, fuck, I've got to go do an hour's worth of grinding to drop some more pages. So I want to wait until I've got all of them. So I don't know what's in there. I know that at least 2 or 3 pages have sent a few people into fits of laughter. And I can't wait to get to those. Yeah.
I read a few and then realized like I should probably be doing the same thing just to enjoy the story.
Yeah, unless you're like, unlocking them at kind of a steady pace where you can keep it all kind of in your head. I kind of struggle with that more lately than I used to, of like reading part of a story and then remembering what I read previously when I come back to it. Maybe that's just, pandemic brain, panini brain, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, I'm going to wait until I get them all. Then I'm going to sit down and read a whole bunch of...
Yeah.
Read a whole bunch of books inside a video game, like it's Skyrim. I want to do a Destiny book report.
Oh, yeah. I'd be down for that.
We can reenact the what is it? The community theater lore entry, Oryx and the Nightmare Daddy, or whatever it's called, where it's like a 3.5 act play. Way back in like one of the Leviathan lore books, I'm pretty sure.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's a throwback. But it's in there and it's weird.
I love when Bungie does, like, they just throw a chunk of weirdness at you and then go, yeah, have fun processing that.
Yeah, it's completely unrelated, but we just wanted to get it out of our system. Which is, I guess, like the tagline of this podcast. Largely unrelated, we just had to get it out of our system. Yeah. Anyway, Festival of Lost. Have we missed anything? It's only just come out this week. We've kind of seen most of how it works, right?
Dinosaur ornaments. A lot of the same shells and emotes that we've seen, except for the Calavera shell.
Calavera, I think it is.
That shell is beautiful. Yeah. I'm going to spend money on that because the fact that it honors a lot of Latino and Mexican art styles, but also it's just a beautiful shell.
Yeah.
And a lot of thought's gone into it. Like, I've been playing with it in the preview, and the way it picks up different shaders is
right.
It's like every shader brings a new life to the design. Yeah, different aspects of the design get highlighted.
They also published that whole interview with the person that designed it too. So yeah,
Yeah,
that was
it's
really cool.
beautiful. And I've noticed, I don't know if he did it, but I've noticed a lot of the same artistic influences on the pumpkins this year in the tower. If you walk around and have a look, a lot of the similar art style. There's a lot of painted pumpkins
Yeah,
around.
I haven't noticed those, but all I thought of was the giant pile of toilet paper next to the drifter, and I still have questions about that.
He would hoard.
Why?
Resale, homie.
Yeah, he is the kind of guy to hoard it. Yeah, you're right. I was just thinking he was a very stinky boy that needed to
Just
poop a lot.
turn quick, turn a quick buck.
But like most people that tried that shit, he can't move it because he's got too much product and everybody can just buy it at the store again. And so he's just stuck with all of this toilet paper he paid too much for. Real idiot hours. It's the drifter.
Unless it's you know, the whole American trick or treat and TPing.
Well, that was.
Maybe it's
I
that.
think that's more likely what they were going for. But
Homie's gonna go TP the tower.
I'm trying to read into it some real anti-drifter sentiment. I think he's a weird stinky mouse boy.
See, I just go scumbag.
Yeah.
I just like my headcanon is he's a complete scumbag. So every other headcanon
Yeah.
thought I have after that is just big scumbag
Real
hours.
piece of shit boy. Get rid of him. But also Gambit's okay. Now.
Yeah, playing a lot more Gambit now that we can get candy and pages from
Well,
it.
also it's double infamy week, which really helps for people like me that are trying to gild a dredgen or two. I'm very close.
Yeah, how's that going for you?
I've got literally one triumph to go, which is the get wins in Gambit triumph. I'm up to 39 out of 50. So I honestly think I'm going to get it done this week.
Yeah, easy.
Because when I posted this image into the Discord yesterday, I was at 33 out of 50. And that was, what time of day? It was like just before 8 p.m.
I was going to say, because we ran a few Gambit matches last night as well.
Yeah.
And we got a few wins out of it.
Yeah, so
kind of dunked on a few teams. Felt terrible for about 2 seconds.
See, okay,
and then didn't.
So when I booted up the game yesterday, it was like, it was right after I finished work. I was like, okay, I'm just gonna get in a little bit of stuff, kind of around dinner, around walking the dog, and then just kind of chill. I was like, okay, I'm just gonna do 3 Gambit matches, get my pinnacle, put it in the vault probably because I'm at max power, but did 2 actually before I had to go and walk the dog. But the 2 matches I went into, my team was 4 solo queue players up against 4 stacks, and we stomped both of them. And I was just like, am I good at Gambit now? Like, usually in Gambit, a 4 stack wins against solos. Usually. That's a pretty safe bet.
Yeah.
But man,
I was having, towards the end of trials though, I was having the same thing.
Yeah, I think like the matchmaking kind of evens out eventually.
3 solo against a 3 stack, and we were trashing them, and I was like,
yeah,
this shouldn't be happening.
I mean, I assume it's the same for other activities, but with trials especially, the more of it you play, the more accurate the matchmaking gets. So I assume they all kind of work in a similar fashion. But it just felt pretty rough to be like, I'm running around, I'm not even using any of the meta shit. Like, I'm running Focusing Lens because I'm running Solar to get some extra ability damage, but I'm not using abilities on the boss. I'm not contributing to, like, melting bosses and melting Primevals and Gambit. I'm just kind of on heavy ad clear mode and running moats and focusing on killing blockers because, to me, that's the thing more people need to focus on. But yeah, then last night we were 4 stacking a bit and stomping some people, and basically every time that I would look at the roster before we loaded in, and I think there was a couple of teams where I noticed players that were like 1250 light or under, so I'm like, oh, they're pretty new, I think we're going to be okay. I think I would never commit because I don't like go, oh yeah, we've got this, because like you never know, right? They might be just pulling some bullshit where they're equipping trash gear and then swapping once the match loads.
Or Smurf accounts.
Yeah, it could be anything, right? But then we would get to like Primeval up and they're at like 40 moats. I'm like, okay, I think we're okay here. And this
there
was
was a
also the combination of players that you said doesn't work in Gambit. I think that curse is broken now.
yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah.
Um, there were games where we were almost at prime and they still hadn't dunked any moats, and we're like,
I
is the
mean,
ticker glitched
no, I
or
think those games, if I remember correctly, half of our moats came from draining the other team because we would
that's
just
true.
keep throwing blockers at them. But yeah, there's a couple of us that are like very close to gilding for this season. I have to imagine you're getting close to getting dredging.
I've switched my focus into leveling for the grand
Grandmasters,
GMs
yeah,
because
that's
I want
fair.
to get a few of those under my belt this year because I never did them
Yeah.
last year. So
Look, if you're
I
anything
definitely
like
want to give
me,
them a go.
getting your first dredging will largely come as an accident. You'll get close enough that the active work to finally unlock it is like you'll get that done in like 6 games.
I think I'm 5 or 6 out of the 10.
Mm.
It's just the remaining 4 are the trickier ones, like don't die in a match, deposit the most motes,
Yeah.
the good company.
No, I think the one that when you're doing it for the first time that is the worst is having a match where somebody deposits 75 motes without dying. It's something like that. That one's rough. You have to the best way. The only way that any of us got it done was to 4-stack and let only one
Babysit.
person run motes.
Yeah, that's it. And it's one of those things that I like Gambit. I don't like going into Gambit with intent other than to do my bounties. I feel like it would take the fun out of Gambit
Yeah,
if I just drill. You saw how stressed I got about Army of One.
yeah.
And
That's a hard one because like
then
if you're not,
now I consistently pop Army of One when I
yep,
invade. So
yep. That's the fuck thing. Like when you're trying to get Army of One, Gambit sucks because unless you're like,
you overthink it.
well, it's more like unless you're someone that usually invades and is somewhat comfortable doing it, it's a massive lift to go up to that. You have to like change your loadout probably and like change how you play in some way. But yeah, the nice thing about once you get to that point where you've got it and you're just trying to gild it is it's like 6 triumphs. There's a couple of them that are a pain in the ass. This season it was like get rocket launcher kills in Gambit, which just take a rocket launcher, wipe out a couple of ad areas, and you're good. And then the harder one's good company, but if you're kind of okay at Gambit, that'll just happen. You know, it's like get wins either without dying, depositing the most motes, or doing the most damage across the whole match. And those can just happen without you meaning to do anything.
I think I've done the most damage one a couple of times because with Xenophage, Chaos Reach, and
yeah.
then someone loading something like Blast Season, Breach and Clear,
Yeah.
or Sleeper at the moment, I think we're running a lot.
Mm.
Stuff like that. I think I've done the most damage over
Yeah.
a couple because I run with my Geomag, so I can pop my
Yeah.
Chaos Reach pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Usually with a staggered Primeval, I can pop it at the beginning, and then usually by the end of the Primeval's life bar, I've popped it again.
Yeah.
If I'm not invading, because
Yeah.
usually I use Chaos Reach on an invade or Xeno on an invade. So
Yeah.
I've done that a couple of times. It's just the other stuff. I'm like,
Yeah. When you've got to do something like kind of specific, kind of out of the norm, then it feels like what I would usually do is like run a bunch of Gambit matches where you're literally only doing that one thing, even if it sucks, even if it's like use a weapon archetype that you never use, just grind it until it's done and then you never have to touch it again.
There's going to be a few that I'm going to have to sit down with a 4-stack and be like, look, here's the intent of this afternoon.
Yeah.
I need to get closer to getting these done.
Yeah.
But for now, I'm just having a good time playing Gambit, getting pages, getting candy, accidentally doing stuff for Dredgen.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the good shit. Your camera is having a nightmare. What else have we got this week? Trying to think because I basically just went and did a bunch of page runs and lost sectors and a few strikes. I haven't done much this week, but it only came out yesterday. So,
yeah, I mean, in between now and then, how did trials go this week, the last weekend?
Yeah, I ran a bunch. It's basically back to normal trials. what was the map?
Javelin.
Javelin, yes.
Not my favorite.
Oh yeah, the one with like the big outdoor kind of area. You got the hangar. Yes. I had some really good matches again, like with the flawless pool and the matchmaking, kind of learning how not good I am at trials. It ends up putting me in the right place. I didn't start playing trials until Sunday, so until the flawless pool was already in there. It felt pretty good.
Yeah,
It felt pretty
I'm
good.
still having a good time.
Yeah, it was a map I hadn't played trials on before, but having played trials for the last, the 3 weeks we've had it this season, I was already starting to do the thing of, this is not a good angle, this is a good angle, here's where I should lane, here's where I do and don't have cover. I'm starting to like look at it differently of, it's not 6-on-6, just run in, capture zones, do whatever. It's like, no, you kind of have to be able to hold your own a little. And there were times where I've started to like push myself a little bit of like, oh, I'm going to go in on this 1-on-1 or even a 1-on-2 and just try it, and getting more comfortable with the loadout I was running, and it felt good. Yeah.
Yeah, I actually found myself sliding into old, like, once again, CS and Siege habits of checking for crosses.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not a thing I have done in a long time. Like, people who listen to this who might have played CS:GO, especially on Dust 2, you would always check doors for cross.
Mm-hmm.
And there is that little thing in between the center spot and B where you can check for crosses down there. But it is one of those angles where it does leave you pretty in the open if they decide to pop the corner. But
Yeah.
it's super simple at the beginning of the map to get out there with a scout rifle, wait for a cross, see if you can dink someone, and then just call the cross, let someone know that at least one of them's on B.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, it was an interesting map because it's kind of like you can go a couple of ways basically into any area. And so you think you've got like one angle covered, and then one player on the
Someone
other team has
rotates.
decided to flank. That's always the thing that gets me, is like you can see two of them. One of your teammates, two of your teammates might be with you, but then someone just comes around a corner, gets a grenade in the right spot,
Yeah,
and it's
Witherhoard was
chaos.
big on this map.
Witherhoard is big at the moment in
Most things,
PvP.
yeah.
Less so, I think, in Javelin, because there's less of those like tight corridors where you get jammed up inside with the grenade. It's a bit easier to kind of, you know, jump out of a Witherhoard and kind of get away from it. But it still got me a few times. I would say just less than maybe the last couple of maps we've had in the rotation.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. But that's good.
Yeah.
Got a couple of trials engrams, focused them out, trying to like fine tune a couple of roles.
Yeah.
Like I like my messenger. I want something else other than heating up next to Headseeker, ideally. I don't know. I haven't like. I'm not someone who goes and looks at the possible roles to work out exactly what I want and try to get that. But I'm just like, I like this gun. I'm going to keep dropping them. Maybe something drops, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's a little more my speed. But Headseeker is real nice as a perk on it because it hits so good.
Yeah, I'm chasing a decent roll on Shayora's Wrath. Now I finally dropped it. It's a
Yeah.
very nice submachine gun.
Mm-hmm.
I need a roll that works better for my playstyle.
Yeah, and it's honestly, yeah, you might have to grind a little bit, but it's easy to get those trials engrams, and then focusing them is actually not that expensive. So you can kind of just target farm a specific weapon, which is so good. Destiny's real good at the moment.
I think it's gonna stay this way for a while too. Like I don't see them shitting the bed with Witch Queen.
No, I wouldn't imagine so. I watched that showcase. Holy shit.
Yeah. And they're just like every new hire I see on Twitter, their team is just getting stronger and stronger. Like they're hiring people from the community. They're hiring artists who have made fan art for a decade to come in and help design new armor and they've got the people who are using the transmog system to make Destiny fashion
Mm-hmm.
and are hiring them to help work on UI. And it's not just people who have experience in that area, they're upskilling these people.
Yeah.
They're artists that they're taking from the community and upskilling.
Yeah, some of them
They're
are like
active members on Twitter that they're taking for their social teams and upskilling them. And that's amazing.
Some of them are people that like I've been seeing on Destiny Twitter for a while, like, posting art they've done, posting animations, and then they get hired at like an associate or junior level. And then it's like, okay, so to me, that kind of says like they look good, but it might have taken them a long time to produce that work. Bungie have recognized that, and they're bringing them in to, like, as you said, kind of lift them up in terms of like real professional game studio artwork, It's real nice to see.
It's like, who better to work on a game than the fans? Like the people who know the game inside and out.
There's
always
the
receiving end.
A fine line there of like, and Bungie I don't expect would be victim to this, but it's very easy to exploit the passion of a fan into unpaid work.
Yeah.
And I don't think they're the type to do it, but there's certainly stories of that in the industry. I could also see, these people have spent years doing this stuff out of like fan projects. There's already that kind of like, it's almost like an imbalance of excitement where they're like, I'm doing this because I love it. And they're like, we're going to pay you to do this specific thing. And they might just overwork themselves because of that kind of built up emotion, I guess,
But it is reassuring to see this discourse happening on Twitter and a lot of Bungie employees coming out saying, no, Bungie pushed for us to take our PTO.
Yeah.
They've told us we can unionize if they want. They've got paternity leave. They've got maternity leave. Like they're doing the right thing. And a lot of people are reporting back and being like, our team leaders check in on us. Our team leaders are all trained as well. Like, and I'm like, that's really good. Just from a fan perspective, I'd hate to be enjoying content that comes out of not great conditions.
Like, especially as I've gotten older, it's a thing that I am looking at in a little more scrutiny, I guess, is like the conditions under which the games I enjoy get created. All the classic stories of crunch and what that does to people. There are times where like that decision is hard to make of I really like this particular game or franchise. I want to play it. I want to support the people that make it. I don't want to support the systems under which it was created. And a boycott, unless they have asked me to do that, is not valid. Yeah, I'm not crossing a picket line. I'm not helping anyone. I'm actually hurting them probably by not putting some money towards. Yeah, it gets real messy real fast. So it's nice
very nuanced.
Yeah, it's nice to see that the game I've put thousands of hours into is apparently made under good conditions.
Yeah,
it's kind of reassuring. And it's all the other benefits of like the friends that I've made along the way and all that stuff that ties me to it. It's kind of nice. Yeah. So I don't know how long Festival Loss actually runs for. I think usually it's like a 3 or 4 week thing.
Usually.
You and I are talking about some potential stream plans. That's probably all we can say about it for now. There's nothing really locked in just yet, but towards the end of the month, we'll have more to talk about next week, because that'll be right before the weekend where I think we were talking about it, or thereabouts, around Halloween. We'll do some spooky streaming, run a bunch of nonsense. Maybe say goodbye to some Tangled Shore locations. Who knows? Maybe go in there and get spooky.
Turn up for tragedy in the Tangled Shore.
Turn up for tragedy in the fucking nightfall. No, the nightclub Lost Sector. Get in there and just do dance emotes to Paul McCartney's Bad Destiny song. It's a hope for the future.
I just...
I don't remember.
Do that one now, please.
Oh, yes. Meatfulmonday.com. You
Me
can do it
frequently.
right now, please. That man is a mess.
A treasure and a curse.
Yes. I'm trying to think if there's anything else for this week. I don't have anything on my list.
No, I think we've covered everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think it's just we're knuckling down for Festival of the Lost. I think both of us want to branch out from the podcast into some spooky streamingness.
A little bit.
So
I
that'll
haven't I
also
haven't done it in probably about as long as you have, like a year and a half, maybe something like that. I keep meaning
as
to
I
fire it
learnt
up again.
yesterday, it's just about hitting that start stream button
Just got
and
to
then
do
just
it.
going. You just got
Just
to bully yourself
you
into it.
just got to send it. Maybe this weekend I'll dust the cobwebs off.
Do some spooky streams. So I guess we'll start chatting about that maybe more on our individual socials.
Which we don't link to from this.
Rip.
I'll put that shit in the description down below.
About that.
Yeah, I'll put a whole bunch of links. Click on those, check us out. I did not think about that before now. Not that we've ever like made reference to it before, but now that we have, I feel obliged to go and put some links in.
Yeah. We'll do a Halloween stream. Birthday stream.
The only tease I'm going to drop for the Halloween ideas that we have is that we have basically bought matching outfits.
Correction.
Yes.
They're not just any matching outfits.
Yes.
They're matching pajamas. We've real homies now. We got matching gym jams, my guy.
Mine is actually a tracksuit. It's not pajamas. I couldn't get quite it looks the same, but it is essentially sweats. It's not specifically pajamas. Anyway, it's a distinction that doesn't need to be made. We're going to look very spooky, very similar. You've gone full gamer mode with the lights behind you. I need to figure out a similar situation, I think, before then. But I've got plenty of time.
Yeah. I mean, 2 weeks.
Yes.
We'll do something. It'll be fun.
Yeah. Yeah. Nice cozy little Halloween hang.
Oh, people will be able to experience how cursed we actually are.
Yes, this is, I mean, as much as the editing on this show is pretty light,
we are still pretty restrained.
The energy is a little held back. Yeah, the stream is a little bit closer to how we are in private Discord servers. So tune in for that. More info to come. Like I said, probably next week. I think we'll chat at the weekend. We'll figure out what the fuck we're actually doing.
Well, I mean, now that we've mentioned it on the pod, unless you edit it out, we're holding ourselves accountable.
Yeah, I'm gonna just toss this one up in the air, and then me in 2 weeks is gonna remember that I did that and try to catch it. Something like that. I'm not sure what the metaphor is here. I'll have to change my nails. I think I've got an orange. I've definitely got black polish. I'm pretty sure I've got something that is orange or orange adjacent.
Hell yeah.
I'm gonna go in. I am not going to wear a pumpkin on my head, though. That thought just crossed my mind. I could hollow a pumpkin out and I don't think the headphones are going to fit.
The logistics of that isn't.
I would need a very big pumpkin to get it over both my large noggin and these headphones and not damage anything. I will think about this some more.
The logistics of wearing a pumpkin.
It's already bad. It will smell terrible. But like I don't carve a face into the actual the pumpkin itself. It's just a hole, and then it's just my human face just in the pumpkin.
Some sort of weird like Victorian era scuba diver, like
yes,
pumpkin spaceman.
Hand me the pumpkin. I'm going diving. That sucks. All right.
You did it to yourself.
I did. I really did, and that's why it hurts. Okay, that's going to do it for episode 10 of Ericode Blueberry. If you found this entertaining and you're still here, hit the subscribe button, follow us around places. There will be links in the description to things we probably should have had in there a while ago. so that if people want to follow specifically you or I, they can do so. I'll throw links in there to the Twitch channels as well, just so that people are ready, are aware of the web destination under which we will do some of those streams. I think you've got more concrete plans to do more before then. I do not. I need to redo a bunch of graphics before I hit that. But thank you all for watching, as ever. Stay spooky. Get out there, play some Destiny. Don't forget to touch grass. Don't be like a certain someone and finish the entire seasonal event 2 days into it. Or do. Like, if that's your life and you enjoy that. It's not for me. I got a job. I got a job that makes me work on weekdays, so it means I can't live like that.
Yeah.
Anyway, we will see you next week.
Yeah.
For more spooky content.
Or scuffed.
Both. Spuffed.
No.
Scoofed.
What's worse?